And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
Dancing with the Stars, American Idol, this musical giant will show us the ropes. Week 5 winner in the iLoud Micromonitor Sweepstakes. A brand new ITL from the Master Blaster. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place. Yay.
God bless Leo Saramago. I mean, without Leo, it's a great way to start the show every day. Hey guys, thanks for dropping by.
Absolutely.
Glad you're here. We were just giving a shout out to our buddy Leo.
You're looking spectacularly bronzed today.
I know.
Just came back from Miami or something?
Well, it's all part of my new DNA adventure.
Oh, okay. Can we do an episode on that?
No, I've already crossed the line.
No, I will share that. Dave,
No.
Don't go.
No, because it'll be misinterpreted. Because Cindy Escalante, our makeup artist, she experiments on me, and this had nothing to do with it.
Well, black people need bronzer too. So.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
But my man, here you go. Why don't we get to it since we're messing this up completely?
I'm only 5%.
That's all right. That means your rhythm is almost there.
I got some badass rhythm.
Here we go. Hey, family, good to see you. Trust that your week is going well. Much thanks for your likes and subscribes. We certainly appreciate it. Also, thanks to our partners, the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, DTS, Lander Fab Factory, Recording Connection, and Studio 202 DC.
Ron.
Our boy Ron. Nice timing. That was kind of black. You dropped it right in there in the funk spot. Okay.
I am Mr. Rhythm.
You are. There's no question about it. In fact, that's how your children were born. Anyways, back to one more week before the grand prize winner of the iLoud Micromonitor Sweepstakes. These powerful little babies right here. We always say these babies bang, right? Yeah. They absolutely bang. Get those emails in at ikmultimedia.com/Pensado. You see the prizes on the screen and that they still have a chance to get a bunch of those. Get it in. It's not too late. In fact, Dave, I think you have this week's winner, right? Mm-hmm. It gives you a chance to show your cosmopolitan.
Well, I'm not going to butcher his name again.
No, you did great. What's his name?
Matteo Baldalucci.
Congratulations to Matteo Baldalucci.
Congratulations.
Great. Good.
I hope he's Italian, because these speakers are made in Italy.
They are. The design place is right next door to the Ferrari factory, right? Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Good job. Once again, enter at ikmultimedia.com/Pensado. Do not delay one more week, and then the grand prize winner. By the way, if you're overseas, if you're attending the AES Berlin conference, take that opportunity to meet the great folks from the Blackbird Academy in Nashville, Tennessee. There is a reason Dave and I rave about them as well as a bunch of other people.
For sure.
And that's because they're the #2 audio school. They offer international accreditation, VA benefits, a spectacular job placement service, studio and live classes. This is learning at the highest level. We have attended these classes that you see behind us. They have incredible teachers. You're going to get a great education in a concentrated amount of time. They'll be located at the AES booth at booth 400. Make sure that you get there and get a chance to meet them. Tell them Pensado sent you. Also want to give a quick thanks to all of you who came out and supported the keynote interview at the IMSTA Festa. That was this weekend. To Ray Williams and Nadia and all the great folks in Canada who came down and had Dave and I. We just want to shout out as well to the badass Pensado students who attended.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much. DP, brand new ITL?
Yeah, I'm showing you my 5 favorite IK Multimedia plugins that I use all the time.
Let's roll it.
I was talking with my team the other day, and they said, man, people like stuff with numbers and lists. So here's my first list in a long, long time. These are 5 IK Multimedia plugins that I use almost all the time, and some of them all the time. I'm a little late to some of the IK Multimedia plugins, although I was tortured for many years with the T-Rax mastering stuff because I had a hard time. Me and all the other engineers I knew that were mixing, we had a hard time beating that thing. It just sounded so good. And so did a little research, and now I'm a big fan. So here we go. one of the first plugins that I started using, my dear friend Bob Horn turned me on to it. It's this guy here. It's an emulation of a real well-known mastering EQ. Probably shouldn't tell you the company. It begins with an M. Look it up. Now here's without it. Oh, this song is a Matty Noyes song, one of my favorite artists ever. And I forget the producer's name, but a gifted, very gifted producer. Check this out. I'm gonna play you the instrumental. With it. Pretty cool, huh? So check this out. The high end is really, really pretty. I'm pumping a lot in there at 7K or so. I'm actually rolling out a little bit of low end. And as you can see, I had a little bit of a shy spot right in here, so I tried to correct for that. Alrighty. I actually owned this plugin for a long time, and this is one of my favorite guitar plugins, virtual guitars. So we're going to look at this track right here. Okay, it's not a guitar, it's a synth. Now watch this. It's pretty cool, huh? Check this out. Get this graphic EQ. So very, very versatile. It's got a little slap in there. You can go through and add a bunch of different effects. You really can't have too many tools to work with kick drums, and each compressor gives you a little bit different attack, a little different algorithms. I've been using this compressor a lot and really like it. Let me show you what I'm trying to get from this one. This is with it. So it's giving me the attack part of the kick sound. Important component to the sound. Good stuff, good stuff. It's got some pretty cool things. You know, the standard things, but this enhancement tool can be very, very useful. It'll give you some top end and some bottom end, just all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, this is the clipper, soft clip. Sometimes I use this not necessarily for any other reason than to help a sound sit in the mix in such a way that it's contributing energy. I love ride cymbals. I like pretending like I can hear a nylon tip drumstick hitting the bell of the cymbal. And so this is obviously a sample. So let me play it for you in the mix. This is what you're going to hear. Okay, now focus on that. Obviously, it's combined with some other stuff. Here's without it. With it. You hear that attack difference? We're doing that with a clipping plug-in. That's kind of cool, right? I thought it was. So in the mix, it's going to be hard to hear, but just feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. So here's that. Here's with it. Without it. If you've got pretty good speakers, you'll feel the difference. It just gives it a drive, and it just those quarter notes just kind of sparkle and come to life and become less monotonous and predictable. Stereo bus is a very, very, very sacred place. I usually try 3 or 4 things. You can see I was trying this one. We're gonna lose that for now. But this is the one that I've been using a lot lately. It's called Stealth Limiter. And I'm not really doing a lot. Check this out. I don't like to do too much. Check the reduction here. About a dB, and for me that's a lot. It's got a lot of cool features. I like this mode thing right here. Listen. I can hear you right now. I can hear you right now. Dave, that harmonics too, man, that's fat, man. That's fat, man. Yeah, but it's a little out of balance. I don't know. Phew, that's a tough one. I kind of like this one too, though. The balance one, it just feels more tight. So we're unity gain, and that's what you're hearing. Pretty impressive. Now remember, we're not cheating. The same volume coming in is going out, and it still sounds fatter. Okay, those are the 5 I like. If you get a chance and you hear something else I'm missing, send it to info@the-show, and I'll check it out. Good stuff. IK Multimedia. And by the way, don't forget these little guys here, that these little iLoud speakers. You see Herb and I talk about them on the show, but I really do use them. They're some bad little guys, man. You got to check them out when you get a chance, man. Okay, adios.
Here's a musical phrase that is synonymous with excellence that you may or may not know. The phrase is Ray Chu and the Crew. And this gentleman is a producer, a musician, a conductor. He engineers, he delivers on network TV, and he delivers in Carnegie Hall. Currently running the music at Dance with the Stars as the musical director. We love welcoming to the desk a good and dear friend of mine, the super talented Ray Chu.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you, brother?
All right.
Good. Fire away, Dave.
DP.
Ray, first of all, shout out to your lovely wife.
Absolutely.
I was just sitting here thinking, what does it take to do what you do in terms of education and preparation? I'm guessing you have to read sheet music, right?
Yeah. Well, and I would also differentiate. I would make a distinction between sheet music and arrangements. So all of the music that we do on the shows, we have. I'm an arranger. Mm-hmm. One of my skills and crafts. Uh-huh. They're specifically arranged. So there've been some shows where somebody will take some sheet music and throw it up there and just read it and try to make something out of it. I gotcha. What we do is on Dance with the Stars, we're doing interpretations of either some popular or some classic songs.
Right.
And most of them the public knows.
Right.
There's not a lot of original music that happens on that show.
Right.
And what we want to make sure is that they're presented in a manner that certainly is befitting what the original intent, but not necessarily, you know. But what the main thing that needs to happen is that it has to be constructed for the choreography.
Exactly.
And for the presentation of the dance movement. So they may take a
and
song.
You do those arrangements?
Yes, I do the arrangements.
Whoa.
So they make, as a
That's
matter of fact, yesterday's episodes, which we just did yesterday, was live on TV. ABC TV at
Yes,
for those of you who don't know, Dance with the Stars.
Yeah.
I did an arrangement of What a Wonderful World. Now, you know the Wonderful World song, Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World.
Sure.
Well, the Val Chmerkovsky asked me to come up with something that had, a little bit more rhythm and life, and also that, because of the Normani,
right.
She was from New Orleans,
Right.
and they said they wanted to get something, more rhythmic, and so I had an idea. Why don't we just do, something that felt like festive? Yo, you got the horns in there, you got the tambourines going. Wanted to make sure they had, felt like Mardi Gras.
Absolutely.
And so if you go back and you can go see the clips on YouTube.
Yep.
That's what we did. So that's kind of an example of an arrangement we may do that is interpretive. And then for the other things,
So question
Wait a
for
minute,
you.
that's only two.
Oh.
I asked for three.
Oh, that's
Okay.
what you did. What's the
Well,
plan?
yeah, well, and then also, so we do the arrangements, and of course we have, we'll write them out. Very specifically, we have 14 pieces in the ensemble, including 4 horns and 4 voices. The voices, we have singers that, are very versatile and able to switch and do all kinds of different styles.
How many pieces are we talking about on an average night, including singers?
14.
Yeah, it's 14 every night, every time we do the show. And we have a stable unit. That's our presentation.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because
consistent.
So how early in the process do you get what the arrangement needs to be, and when you get that, are you also understanding that the arrangement will obviously fit the choreography, but you probably don't see the choreography until it's time to play it? Like you don't see that early.
Yeah.
So who's bringing that information to you? The actual teacher, the people that are competing?
Yeah, exactly. For instance, the Val Chmerkovsky, he brought that in.
Got it.
And then then I'll work up some kind of workup, a musical workup, and he'll use that to rehearse with. And then he'll call me back and say, hey, I need some accent here and there, and we'll adjust it. So that process usually happens. Like today, I'll get them an email, and we'll speak about it. Then we'll start doing the specific arrangements that.
So each week you're doing a rough that they can work with. Then you tweak that rough for the actual show for each dance of each song.
Correct.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, and then we do a rehearsal on Friday. We put it all together, and that's in part for not only my team, the musical and the singers, the musical portion of it, but also for the audio team. They need to know who's singing what kind of special things will happen. Do we have sometimes we'll have, some different kinds of drum sounds and all kinds of stuff. If we're doing a Katy Perry song, it's imperative that you get the sound of the drums right.
Absolutely.
You can't do that with just, we'll use the same kit for every song. Well, no, that's not the sound.
Right.
So we have to present, every one of the performances with the right kind of audio depiction. All right.
Are you triggering samples with the live drums to get those sounds?
Yeah, we're triggering samples. We're using all the wonderful technology that is available.
Would you say the biggest difference between the original song and the song we hear on air are mostly rhythmic components to enhance the feel so that the dancers can follow a timing and rhythm?
Because sometimes we try to go spot on with it. Okay. There'll be some things where they say, hey, we like everything that is there. And the difference will be that we're kind of, first of all, Katie won't be singing, one of our singers will be singing it.
Right.
And then we'll try to replicate the sound in the backgrounds. A lot of that stuff, when you hear a great record like that, part of what makes it enjoyable, what you like, is sound of the production itself.
Absolutely.
So if you don't get that, then you're kind of missing something in the
100%.
presentation. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I always hear little rhythmic differences though that catch my ear that you do. Yes, I watch the show wherever my camera is, and I like them because it feels like that's what should have been there sometimes to begin with.
Yeah,
I know
well,
you're too
because a lot
humble
of
to say
times,
that you changed
we're
it.
also asked to, hey, well, we want to make sure that we do something that's somewhat unique for this show. So they like a lot of percussion on this show. So sometimes we'll our percussionist Roland Garcia, he'll
he's a bad boy.
add some congas or some bongos or anything of his bag of tricks. And especially for the dancers, they like to feel a lot of percussion.
Right. Well, because I actually went to you, I had an experience with Maurice White back in 2005, 2006 for Broadway, which was a dance-heavy show. And I actually called Ray to get his expertise about different players in the community back there because, and what you're saying is buttressing that fact. You have to serve the dancer with the song while remembering the audience. So it can't get away from what the audience expects. It can be in addition to, but dancers have to feel rhythm and groove and stuff like that, and particularly when there's heavy choreography. Yeah. They're hitting marks and doing things and catching people in the air. Like people don't understand that part of this is dangerous too. When people, I remember we went through a whole specific choreography because people get injured so many times if they didn't get caught or missed or flipped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a heavy role. Now, so take that experience. You also spent a number of years on American Idol. That added like a record production component to it as well, right? You had to do all the stuff you were talking about. Then records had to be ready to go, be mixed and turned over overnight and put out, correct?
That was a very interesting journey. Interesting in the sense that it wasn't simply, well, you have a show to do, just prepare for the show and make that happen. Well, there was also, at the time I was doing the show, I was brought in by Ron Fair and Jimmy Iovine, who, and of course, and so what they wanted to do was, alongside of the presentation of the broadcast, was to have record-ready releases. Yeah. And he didn't want them to be cut and paste from the show. He wanted these things to be well-produced and it had to be done quickly. Yeah. And so what we did was, I'll give you an idea of the journey of that process. So the show broadcast on Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday. Right. So Wednesday would be the main broadcast day, Thursday they would vote somebody else. So it was a 2-day presentation. Yeah. Friday would start my journey. So Friday we would all meet over at the Interscope, at the studio, the Tom room there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we would, they would pick the songs. So in this case, so you have the song being sung by the contestants. So let's say there was top 10. And it would always be some configuration of that. If there wasn't 10, when they start getting voted off, there would still be 10 songs because they would start singing more than one. And there'd be group songs. Right. So let's say there's a pot of 10 songs. Right. And they would choose those. And we would start the process of making sure that the arrangements were right for the contestants. Right. So they would take a song like, I Will Always Love You, and she'd say, hey, well, let's do the bridge different. And you don't have 3 minutes for the song, so you have to do an excerpt type of arrangement. Well, we'll do the opening introduction, then we'll do the first verse and jump to the bridge, and then do chorus out. Something like that. Yeah. Once we decide, make sure that there's the key is right, everybody's happy with that, they'll tell me, hey, well, we want to, change the style of that. We want to put a reggae beat with, y'all always like, hideous, but, sometimes,
Of course, absolutely.
But,
yeah.
What hideous as it might sound.
We're there to serve.
We're there to serve,
Absolutely.
And actually, that never happened, that particular one. But I've gotten some calls from like, really? Right. You want to do that? Okay. Right. But also the call for that is that it's a contest. And so the contest, you want to allow the contestant to have input into what the results should be, because what you want to make sure is they have their best opportunity to be themselves, right? To do them.
Right.
And you don't want them, to say, well, Ray Chu wouldn't let me do my arrangement the way I wanted to do. Yeah. So I make sure that we make sure that we do the arrangements consistent what they want to do. That's the first step. That's Friday. Over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what we do is we take those and we started the recording process.
Cut the songs.
That's right. We had at the Tom at the Interscope Studios, we had 4 rooms working, and I'd have my crew. We had 4 engineers, 4 rooms, and we'd have them come in one room, and we'd start recording and go to the other room, start doing some overdubs, and go to another room. And we had a really a conveyor belt system where we get that. Over the weekend, we'd finish any kind of overdubs. We do live strings. We had strings, so we didn't do fake strings. We had a string section come in, live horns. Wow. And we would mix on Sunday, master on Monday. Monday we're also on the set, where we take some of the stems that might and we'd have everything on set Monday. We rehearsed it so the audio team would have, would know where all the signals are coming from. Sure. Tuesday we do the camera blocking. Wednesday is live. So it was that show went 7 days a week. That was a pretty
because we would have
process.
Engineers on that were friends of ours who were part of the mixing guys. And Tricky was on one year with
Tricky, right?
A few others, and they would just talk about how grueling it was. It was round the clock.
That's right.
You'd put in an 8-hour shift, and then the next person would come in and do it every day, and you just had to do what you had to do to meet. Because those records were going to iTunes and other places and becoming competitive records.
The records they had to be ready when the broadcast.
Exactly.
So we'd start, like I said, basically recording Saturday, and everything had to be done and mastered, by then Tuesday night.
Wow.
Be ready for broadcast Wednesday.
I got a dumb question, and I'm proud I waited this long for it. How do you keep everybody in time? Do they have a click track in there?
Yeah, everything's on.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
and
everything's on
and
click.
You control it. So how do you choose from? Is it you got a laptop there and you pull it up? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, I have we tried a number of different methods. One was that they had somebody offset. We had a Pro Tools guy, and he would run it, and he would run click and any kind of accompany.
Was it a real click track, or would it be like a clave or a hi-hat, or is it an annoying artificial sound?
Yeah, we tried a few of them. Yeah, they're all annoying.
Okay.
The clave gets annoying, the cowbell gets annoying,
right.
the regular Apple thing, that gets annoying, but it's necessary. It's a necessary thing.
Many people, yeah.
And we tried having the guy offset, and then what we did was that got to be, even 20 feet away got to be a little dangerous, because what would happen was that as things are, those things are imperfect, imperfect, and something will happen, and it's live TV. So I have we incorporate that in our unit. Our bass player, who's also a Pro Tools, his name is Artie Reynolds. He's a certified Pro Tools guy as well. So I said, if you're gonna touch one of these buttons, you better make sure you can do everything Pro Tools asks. Right. And one of the things that we make that is required is that we get to kill. All right, if something happens, kill it.
Right.
And we have everything that we need in our ensemble to. Everything's live anyway.
Got it.
Where anything the Pro Tools was doing is making sure that the tempos were always consistent. I would say back in the day, we used to have my little metronome, the pulse metronome. But even going off just 1 or 2 BPMs can make a difference.
Yeah.
So we lock in every tempo with the Pro Tools. He runs it, and sometimes we'll enhance some of the things, like we'll have some specialty sounds that need to be incorporated on the stem. We'll put those in there. And
so you're playing some original stems.
Yeah, if something happens to get off, he can kill the whole thing.
Do you get those original stems from guys like me, or do you recreate them and then?
We recreate everything. Okay. Yeah.
Did how big is the audio crew for Idol, how big was it? And then for Dance with the Stars, are about the same size?
Yeah, about the
Pretty
same
much.
size. Probably about 20 guys. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got a dedicated monitor guy and then a dedicated broadcast guy.
You have a house mixer. You got a monitor guy. You got about 4 A2s, A1s and A2s.
Yep.
And we have of course, we have the truck mix, and then you have the broadcast mix, and then some various other bodies around there.
I love engineers. Do you want to give one a shout out on your show?
Yeah. Oh well, that's it. They're doing it on Dancing with the Stars. Mark King is our main. He's our main audio mixer.
Cool.
He does a great job.
He sure does.
Yeah.
I like this
And
stuff.
so we work hand in hand. After we do a rehearsal, we'll go in, we'll mix with him. We'll mix. He'll record the rehearsal, and so we'll make any adjustments to the levels. Anything that we want to make sure that that sounding right there.
And so then all of your setup, you can go from studio to where the show's actually taped and have everything set and ready to go. So there's an extensive investment in making sure all the gear that you could possibly need is there, and you can put stuff on thumb drives and
absolutely,
from wherever to wherever with no.
We've got everything that's everything we need.
What software do you like?
Oh, well, I like Logic.
Yeah.
And we use Pro Tools, so it's both Logic and Pro Tools. I like tracking on Logic. It's it's just intuitive, and when you pull up Logic, you don't really have to ask it too much. It's already there. They thought of everything.
Right.
I like Pro Tools, but it gets a little finicky sometimes. Okay, avid folks, y'all could. I'll write. I'll give you some feedback specifically.
There you go.
But it, of course, it's industry standard. So anything that needs the final audio presentation is coming through Avid and Pro Tools. Yeah.
All right, so let's go way back. When did Little Ray Chu go, music's my life? What was the journey? How did it start? Was it you becoming a piano player? Where did it all start and go?
It started with piano. My father was a musician, and he played piano and vibes. And, so he had the instruments in the house, and he would, at age 4, 3, and 4, he'd start tinkering around, and he saw something. And at 5, they took me over to the Juilliard School. Now, by the way, I grew up in Harlem.
Right.
And right over on the west side, right down the block from Columbia.
Yeah.
And at that time, I grew up in the projects, the Grant Projects. At the time, Juilliard had a school up right in the Columbia area. As a matter of fact, it used to be right where the Manhattan School of Music is, right? So 122nd. Right? So they had a program for kids at the time, and my mother took me over there, and they saw something in me. They tested me, and he said, "Oh, he's got perfect pitch, and he's got this, and he can play songs." So they gave me a scholarship. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, they didn't give me a scholarship. I won.
You earned it.
I won a Vladimir Horowitz scholarship.
Oh, really?
And I started my formal study at age 5. And from there, I went to many institutions. Third Street Music School, Harlem School of the Arts, went to High School of Music and Art, went to Manhattan School, the prep division.
Wow.
And by the time I did it, I was in music study every day.
Was the first TV breakthrough being on the Apollo and doing the band there?
Actually, my first TV breakthrough was Saturday Night Live. So it was live TV to start. I did Saturday Night Live during Eddie Murphy years.
Oh, wow.
All right, and so those are the years. Yes, I did. And I was
Who's the musical director?
Tom Malone and Leon Pendarvis, who's still there.
Leon
Leon's our
came to our
guy.
first award show, presented our first award show. We love LP. Yes.
Leon, Tom Malone, and they both brought me on. And I was a pianist, and I was also a arranger, and I also started writing, for TV then. And it was
Did they find you? How'd you get the gig?
Well, I knew Tom Malone. I knew both of them from the New York session scene.
Yeah.
And so we all worked together. And then one day we're having sushi, and Tom Malone says, "Hey,
come on."
Right.
Nice.
We got to have a petition to have somebody move Leon a little bit to the right. I never see him anymore.
When you watch TV.
Yeah,
right.
and you know,
He's such a good dude.
He's a great guy.
He's a friend. You know?
Yeah.
I got another dumb question. Has anybody ever asked you to play in an alternate tuning like 442?
Well, I know Stevie Wonder. He likes to tune his piano up. Now, that exactly, and he likes to sing, and he likes to sing his classic songs in higher keys. Now, and I'm like, why? Well, one of the things is that he continues to improve and grow as a vocalist. Whatever he's doing, he continues to get better. Now, when at an age where people start declining, he continues to, strengthen his voice.
Wow, that's so interesting.
But it is true of all the greats, though. Most of the greats stay curious. Like, you don't relax on your gig. You're still looking for the best way.
I'm a student of the craft.
Yeah.
I love, I used to, when before everything became online, all the manuals. And I don't read fiction, but I'll read a manual. I used to love doing that. I would take a manual, and read it from top. I want to read the whole thing.
Yep.
Because I want to know about every year exactly. At least be able, and I'll have a reference. Oh, yeah, I saw that somewhere in the book, and I know that I use it.
A critical point. The level of excellence is as far as you go. Mark Cuban says, the one thing you can control is your effort. And your effort is what will help you get to the best you can be. Now, you might not know how far you can go, but you can limit yourself by not trying to go hard and go all the way.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Skills are acquired. Yeah. And if you don't go get them, they remain out.
They ain't coming to you.
They're not coming to you.
Yeah. Hey, Vivian, make sure he says the right answer. What are the last three?
His wife, by the way.
What are the last three songs you listened to?
The last three songs I listened to, well, the broadcast yesterday.
Well, no, for fun.
Oh, for fun.
Yeah, sorry.
Excuse me.
And don't make up some kind of highfalutin jazz.
No. Yeah,
Vivian's going to make sure you tell the truth.
As a matter of fact, the last three songs was Polonaise, A flat, Chopin. And I know that sounds good, but well, this is my own entertainment.
Okay.
I love, it's part of my.
I love Z's version on the Black Album of that, but yeah.
Okay, and then I'll go from that, and I'll listen to something that is far fetched, in the world is hearing a didgeridoo, and trying to figure out, wow, how could that one day, be incorporated into something I do, and then and I like to hear things that are off of the grid, so to speak, because I'll drive in the car and I'll hear the top 40, and as a matter of fact, everything we do, they'll pull in some top 40, so I have to know all the current records, right. And I know, and I'm going to give you one record that I keep in my rapid rotation in my car, Miles Davis, 4 and More.
Wow.
And I was just talking to my drummer, Nissan Stewart, about this yesterday. Was that I had the honor and pleasure of having dinner with Ron Carter, who told me about the making of that record, and what what happened during the live. That was live at Lincoln Center.
Amazing. Right?
And Tony Williams, Ron Carter, Herbie Hancock, they're all that. 19 and 20 years old. And that's just one of the great records of all time. Yeah. And when I listen to that, it's great every time I hear it.
So if you're giving advice to somebody that was watching and they had aspirations, because in your gig, in your portfolio, there's producer and there's live musician and there's conductor and there's arranger and there's songwriter. There's every possible tool there. And then you add broadcast television, cable television, live events, Carnegie Hall, like there's a whole retinue. It's hard to imagine one singular piece of advice, but it would seem to me to be the best you can be and to think big and dream big. Would that be close?
I would say that one of the things, you follow all of your dreams and interests to its utmost capacity.
All the way you can go.
Yeah, the utmost. I mean, and I like that word, the utmost capacity, that phrase. It was, and I borrowed it from somebody else. But I incorporate that into, my walk because, I'm not gonna leave anything on the table, in this life.
That's the
So that's right. I'm doing all of what God gave me. I'm maxing it out, and that's what max it out. Just go on and max it out. And if you think of something, like I said, I sit and I don't have enough hours in the day to do the stuff I want to do.
Right.
I bought that Avid A6, and with all those knobs and stuff. So I got in there for 2 weeks. I'm gonna figure out every knob on this thing, and and I just need more time.
Right. You can't find enough time. Right?
Yeah.
Don't you get both of you guys? Don't you think that I say we collectively could do a better job of, like when you describe your start, there were people that were part of a public school system that could help you, and it seems like we're finding ways to not do that anymore because of costs and this sort of thing. But until we get music back in the schools at a young age, we're not going to get people to have appreciation for things they might not get exposed to later in life, like the classics like George Gershwin, like Chopin you mentioned earlier. But I have a gripe. I don't have a solution. I don't know how we do that.
I have a solution. I think that people like myself need to go out and help. You know what? If they're not going to deliver the food, then go get it. If they're not going to, nobody's going to make it, then you make it yourself, or get somebody to help. And so what I do is my mother was by the way, she was a political and community activist. Each one teach one hand touch another. She went out into the community and did stuff. And so she taught me that, and that's what I do. My wife and I, Vivian, we have a foundation. We go to schools, we go to institutions. I go and give, lectures and hands-on mentoring, master classes. And anybody that if you contact me, I share some thoughts and knowledge. I take the time to take, some guys under my wing. I have some very great stories. I'm going to share this with you. I have a great story. So there's a young man, we were doing a TV show one time, and so he was brought in to do keyboards too with me, and I knew him. And matter of fact, we hired him, and so during the rehearsal, we were like, wow, did somebody change the song, and I was like, wow, they changed about 2 songs. I said, man, I got about 10 minutes to do one, and I grabbed him and said, why don't you do the other one? All right, you do a chart, and I'll do a chart. And we'll get there. So during the process of this, I'm doing my chart and I'm checking him out, and he's like going real slow. I'm like, what's going on? And I look over there, and he's basically got nothing on the paper. I'm like, what's happening? And so I discovered he really wasn't as musically literate as I thought he was. He had a great ear, and he was able to get up there. So after that, I said, okay, let's get through this. I got it done. And I said, listen, by the way, you got great talent. What this is an acquired skill. Now, if you start now, in a year's time, you can have this. It's a grid. There are frequencies. The notes are up, and the notes are down. There's a consistent rhythm. Figure it out. All right, and there's books. There's go to school. So he started then, and he also went and got some formal training. In a couple of years, this guy is leading and doing arrangements on Broadway, doing some wonderful stuff, and I'm very proud of him.
And I'm pissed because I'm going to answer, because you asked both of us. One of the things is, because this happens to us too, doesn't that make you feel incredible?
It does. Yeah.
So I would just add to what Ray said. It was so articulate. There's opportunity in the fact that the government has sort of left and made decisions about cutting music out in school for all of us to fill that gap. We've put our education in, we put our chips in on education. I'm finding people who now want to educate in every sector of the world. We're doing some things to do that. We do a bunch of live. We were talking last night about our live events, and the process of them can be so, particularly the way we do them, can be not only exhausting but expensive. But what we get out of them and what people get out of them, and we give them scholarships and we give them gear, and we give a whole lot of other kinds of things, the response is so amazing because it's so needy. So I see it as a business opportunity for a lot of people who may not be the session player that they were before because that business is gone, or the record business has changed on them. You can come teach if you're serious about it. If you're coming in to rip it off, people will know. But if you're coming in to teach, which I'm going to ask you, when we do live events, I'm going to be hitting your wife and saying, Ray, come down, because
absolutely.
And it's amazing what happens with these stories of stuff. All right, we got to do a little batter's box. When you prepare that, Vivian, are you out there someplace?
Oh, there she is.
Oh, okay. Come on up here, Vivian. Let's get Vivian up here really quickly, because the reason we're doing this is to know that sometimes people get there with the help of other folks. And this is a young lady I've known for a long time who is an amazing. She was an A&R person. We knew her back at Epic back in the day, and the brand of Ray Chu and what Vivian does, and she takes a lot of artists internationally and takes care of business. This is a example of what people can do together who care about each other and have absolutely changed the game and built a brand, and she is wonderful. And you know I love you.
Thank you, darling.
So in taking this brand and taking it to where it is, there's really no cap on where Ray can go, is there?
Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I just heard him. I was listening to the interview where he said that he doesn't have enough hours in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally Ray can have his hand on me, and all of a sudden, then 10 seconds, I start feeling this.
Really?
Like, I don't even.
They can't see that.
He's thinking
you have to do
You
it.
know, here, there we go.
There you go.
And it's in his head.
Yeah.
Or I know that if we're having a conversation, I know when my shutdown point is.
Right.
Like, he's just gone, and the music is there, and I've got to back up.
Right.
And that's just who he is. I mean, it's just, it's his DNA.
And what does this kind of partner mean? Because it's beyond love and wife and husband. There's a business relationship, which is also tough.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah.
But when it works, it's amazing.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because one of the things that we've had to have happen in our marriage and friendship and our relationship is that, and I distinguish those things, is that we have to evolve. We have to continue to evolve. And she's had to learn a lot about me. I've had to learn a lot about her. She had to learn that, sometimes I'll go downstairs I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and something will be musical in my head. And that, don't worry, I'll be back. Just relax.
Right, exactly.
It'll be cool.
All of our mates know that.
Yeah, and then also I've had to learn, that about some of the business structure that I've learned from her. All her wonderful years in corporate music, and so it's been wonderful in our relationship, in the respect of how we navigate the industry is symbiotic.
Yeah.
And when any of my weaknesses become her strengths, and vice versa. Yeah.
So let me just say this, because we're going to put your husband on the spot.
Okay.
For the last 2 years, we'll always be able to look back and say 2017 and 2018, the Living Legends Creative Visionary Awards was shared right in here.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Right in here,
Bravo.
the three of us. So,
Yes.
congrats.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Congrats.
absolutely.
All right, I just wanted you guys to meet Vivian. You sit back down. We
Okay.
love you, Viv.
Thank you. But I love him more.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm not. I'm mad, but can't be that mad. So
what I
I've
like
gotten
you
used
two
to it
did.
over here.
Thanks for everything you ever did for me.
You got it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I just could not do the show.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
Got to give it.
Okay.
All right, so baseball. You're pitching, you're batting, pitch away.
Miles or Coltrane?
Miles.
Vocals.
Patty Austin.
Ooh.
Herbie or Chick? Okay.
My buddy.
Piano.
Yamaha.
Synthesizers.
Moog.
Deadlines.
Now. And never miss. That's right.
There you go.
String libraries.
Ooh, I like the, I use a lot of them. So I like the Philharmonic. I like, I've gotten a bunch of them. So Philharmonic. Okay.
Horns.
Garrison. I like the Garrison jazz ones. Yeah.
Guitars. Greatest instruments ever made.
Gibson.
Which would you rather do, MD or produce records?
Well, that's a tough one because they're simultaneous for me. So, all right, MD. It's live and immediate. So
okay, I should quit because I'm not ahead. Okay, last and not least, bass.
Fender.
We're asking the
bass player.
Could be that too.
Well,
who would be your bass player?
Marcus Miller.
I'm just thinking about Marcus Miller.
Oh, yeah. That's my high school buddy, too.
Oh, is that right?
We were in the same class.
Is it true that he came late for a session and the musical director was angry and just to be smart, he never rehearsed it. It was a very complex script. He turned it upside down and read it perfectly. Is that
Well, I don't know
mythology?
that story, but I'll tell you, Marcus Miller, while we were in the high school of music and art, wasn't known as a bass player.
Really?
He played clarinet and sax.
Wow.
And so we had some really great musicians in that school at the time. Omar Hakim was on drums.
Wow.
Marcus Miller. We had Kenny Washington, who's a great jazz drummer. Steve Jordan was in the school at the same time.
We just hung out with
Lisa
Steve in
Fisher.
Wow.
These are all
amazing.
all in the same building. We had a lot of great musicians. Yeah.
Okay, we usually traditionally end this question by talking about if your studio catches fire, what piece of gear would you rescue? So, if the set of Dancing with the Stars caught fire, which judge would you let burn?
Oh my goodness!
You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that.
You know what? I'll answer that by saying none of them because the entire show, and I've done a lot of TV. This show is really, I'll have to use the word family, and really in the good sense because everybody is a lot of great love and affection. Everybody really cares, and they hold each other, make sure everybody's good. That goes from the top down, from the executive producers all the way to every person on the crew.
Wow.
We have an incredible crew. I love doing that show.
Wow. I'd love to. You only have a couple more episodes, right?
Yeah, well, we're next week is our finale.
It's your finale, right? Well, this is not really the finale. This is just part one being done because we got some live events coming up, and I'm going to check with your wife to know what your schedule is like. Wouldn't it be great on some panels
100%.
that we're doing? We're coming
very
to
inspirational.
We're going to Boston, we're
Great.
going to New York, we're going to Miami.
And much needed too.
And much needed, and people would flock to hear you. We generally have a lot of people show up. Beyond being a friend, what you guys should know is that Ray as a person, his wife as a person, they are as stand-up as people as they are as musical talents and have been forever. One of the things you don't find in our business, as you know, is consistency from folks. And there's nothing like finding people at the top of their game as a talent and the top of their game as humans. So, brother.
Thank you.
Could not be more proud.
Thank you.
We are here, we're friends, we're fans, we're supporters, and we are so proud that you are doing what you're doing the way that you're doing. And for folks who are in the record business and so on and so forth, here's a transition into where you can go and really do the right kind of stuff. So proud of you, brother. Dave, take us home, man.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought about that. Help me. Well, you know what? Week after week, Herb and I sit and get inspired by our guests. And today was kind of special for me because sometimes I lose track of the things outside of my little world of pop music and hip hop and R&B. And he mentioned a couple of classical pieces. I'm going to go refresh my classical background, which is small, and get that up to speed because there's so much to learn from that world, and you inspired me to do that, so I'm going to go do that, and I challenge you guys to do the same thing. Start small. See you next week.
See you later.